What's up, everybody? This is Josh here with Basement Level Magic, and I'm going to do another episode of Mail Time. It's been a little while, so I kind of did a little bit differently this time. Tons of mail, and I went ahead and opened them before this episode, just because I feel like it's a little bit easier not having to fiddle with all the paper and having the extra noise. So let me know if you enjoy that better. Otherwise, if I'm doing it more frequently, it'll be a lot easier for us to just go ahead and open them as we go. Hopefully you enjoyed the first time and you're watching again for the second time. So this time around, I'm going to kind of start by discussing something that I talked about last time, kind of at length, which was discussing going ahead and picking up all those basic foils, basic foil lands from Battle for Zendikar. Right now, almost every card in Battle for Zendikar is just dropping in price. The one thing that you can look to that is actually maintaining its value or going up is the basic foil lands. And this is, it's one thing I went at length, so I'm not going to talk too much about it this time. But I basically finished out. I've got 10 of my forests, I've got 10 islands, 10 plains. The one thing that I'm still looking for is I'm only at 5 mountains so far. So I'm still looking to pick up those, but that is, that's one thing that I really discussed at length, and if you want to listen to that topic, go ahead and hit up Mail Time #1. But if you don't believe me, this past week on Star City Games, Chaz, who is their MTG finance guy, actually brought it up now, which is kind of a coincidence because 2 weeks ago I actually wrote a comment on his article discussing how I was doing this because, basic foil lands that are full art are not selling for under $15 pretty much from any set. Of course, this is going to be a highly open set, but finding that artwork of the land that you like is very difficult. So if you don't believe me, Chaz is now saying it too. So go ahead and check that out. But let's get into Mail Time. So if you can't tell, I went ahead. I got a ton of my foil lands. So I am nearly complete. I think I've got 5 lands left, and then I'll have 10 of everyone. You'd be hard pressed to find a deck where you actually play more than 10 basics. So this way, I should basically be able to play with these lands all the time. So then let's get into what I bought during the Pro Tour. One of the decks that I saw that was just doing remarkable, and if you've watched the results from this last weekend, it definitely continued to rock, and that's Jeskai. So I actually went out and bought a bunch of Ojutai's Command. I actually got to the point where Ojutai's Command, the basic one, was starting to sell for more than the foil ones that I was finding. So I started picking up the foil ones. When you're able to get them all for about $4 a piece, why would you not get the foil version? In my mind, that's always going to be the more expensive one, and it should be because it looks sweet. So I went ahead and picked up a whole bunch of Ojutai's Commands. I am looking to probably turn them around fairly quickly, but the good thing is that you need to remember is that they're from Dragons. So they are not from Fate Reforged, not from Kanzatar Kier, so they're not going to be rotating out here in the springtime. So you'll actually get to play those for quite a while. Ojutai's Command, if you look at it compared to Dramoka's Command, Kolaghan's Command, and Atarka's Command, Atarka's Command and Kolaghan's Command are a little bit different because they are seeing Eternal play in Modern, and then even Legacy play. But like Dramoka's Command, which is the one that I want to compare it to, is selling for $8, $9, $10. So I don't know why Ojutai's Command won't, because Jeskai is so dominant right now. If you look at the deck winners out there, Jeskai is doing really good. The other thing I did was I picked up, I think I ordered about 5 Canopy Vistas because I was seeing them for under $4 a piece. I don't see, these battle lands, they're not 4-ofs. So it's not exactly the thing that you typically think of when it comes to lands. They're not fetch lands. You're not playing them as often as you would a fetch land. But these cards are not going to be less than $5, and if they are, it's not going to be very long. The other card that I did pick up, which I thought it was a really fun style of deck, they were calling it, I think it was Dan Ward called it Teamurai. or Temurai, which is basically a 4-color Dragons deck. It allows you to play Savage Knuckleblade, Mantis Rider, and a bunch of dragons. I mean, that seems like a really fun deck. It also plays Woodland Wanderer, which can be a 6/6 as early as turn 3. So I mean, really aggressive, fun creature-based deck. So I went ahead and picked up a card that he plays 4 of, which is Icefall Regent. It was going for fairly cheap. I thought if this deck makes it big, you know, I will have made a couple bucks off each of these. You know, so far it hasn't, but, you know, I'm just showing you the stuff that I did pick up. Now, the next set of cards I did pick up, I kind of touched on our first mail time, and it was a deck that I personally think there's a deck out there, and I'm actually going to try to build something around it. If any of you have, you know, specific types of decks that you want us to try to play, heck, post a list down below. We'll try to play it and show everybody what it looks like. But the deck that I like is, I feel like there's going to be a Devoid deck out there. It may not be this standard set, but you have to start thinking, you know, these cards are really cheap right now. You've got a lot of very good cards that are going for almost bulk. And one of those cards, which I discussed before, is Wasteland Strangler. A lot of people don't think that it's going to be something, but obviously I think it's got a shot. I picked up a ton of these. You know, these cards, it's basically going for bulk right now, but it's a card that if you can build a deck with it, build it around it, it's always a 2-for-1. You know, it's a 3/2 body, which is decent already. Takes care of Jace, Mantis Rider, Death Mist Raptor, Den Protector, you know, anything that's a 3 toughness creature right now. You know, no, it's not seeing a ton of play just yet, but there are some Eldrazi decks that are starting to be brewed around. The other card that I picked up at less than 50 cents a piece was Transgress the Mind. It's not crazy exciting. It's an uncommon, but I did pick up a bunch of those, you know, at a fairly decent price. And these were mostly right around the time of the start of the Pro Tour. You know, it's not the Pro Tour that led me to do this. And then the other card that I did pick up that I think can be built around with Wasteland Strangler is, what is it called? Fathom Feeder. So I picked up a few copies of that. That card was going a little bit higher than I personally wanted to pay for it. You know, it was around $2 or so. So I only wanted to take a chance on a couple of those. You know, me personally, I want to go ahead and build like a kind of a Grixis aggro Devoid deck. You know, I feel like there's some really cool synergies out there right now. And I feel like you can top in with like some Dragonlord Silumgar, maybe even Sire of Stagnation, which is not seeing any play right now, but it's a mythic and, you know, can maybe do something. The other card was Blightherder, which you can pick these up basically at bulk as well. These are all Devoid cards. I feel like they could go in a really fun style of deck. And honestly, right now, every deck out there is using their graveyard. Every deck is exiling their own cards, so you don't even have to do the exiling yourself. You know, you're going to get a lot of value out of these guys just by your opponent exiling their own cards. You know, with Delve right now, you know, and there was a lot of Delve in Khans of Tarkir. These cards could be very, very usable in my mind, and I'm personally going to try to brew around it. Like I said, if you guys have any decks out there that you'd like us to try out, you know, right now I'm thinking online, we'll probably pretty much play any standard deck that doesn't include Jace. You know, I've got Jace on paper, but I'm not sure if I'm willing to spend the money to get him online. So if you have any standard decks out there, we'll call it No Jace Standard. You know, and maybe we can make a series of it. Try to do a little series every week. If you guys think that's a good idea, go ahead and post your deck list. Otherwise, let me know what you think. This was Mail Time number 2 with Josh. Thanks for hanging out. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you enjoyed this. Later.